How many married someone from, yes, Escanaba? Oh. And how many married someone from Delta County? Elsewhere in Delta County? Okay, thank you. Now we move into the 50s, 1950 through 1959. And for this decade, we have two for the price of one. A real bargain. From the class of 1956, Walter Houghton, and the better-looking part of the bargain, Phyllis Royer Hagelin.
The 50s, this was the era of the Cold War and also the hot shooting wars. Russia had the bomb, and Joe McCarthy was finding communists behind every tree. During this period, Truman and Eisenhower were our presidents. Many Gladstone people discovered firsthand where Korea was. Also during this time, we learned of such things as Hungarian freedom fighters, Dien Bien Phu, and at that time there was already 800 advisors in Vietnam. Also, we first heard of the U-2 spy planes. Meanwhile, in the early 1950s, the names that we heard most often in town, Ryla, Swenson, Creighton, Schram, LaPlante, Stade, Syverson. That group of people, and Coach Kyle, advanced with an 18-2 record to the state semifinals. This is still the high water point of Gladstone basketball. Again, 1953, Gladstone defeated Escanaba 35-7 on their field. In 1955, Gladstone won the Great Lakes Trophy. They won this by winning the basketball and the football conference. Oh, one thing during the 50s, oftentimes during our pep rallies, with the beloved teacher Elmer Peterson, we'd hear the sound of ice cream, soda water, ginger ale pop. Gladstone High School always on the top.
Well, I hope you're going to be able to hear me. I sort of lost my voice. I don't know how. But anyway, when I asked Walter to help me with the decades, to go through the decades of the 50s, he said to me, he agreed, but he says, he said, you're going to owe me one. Well, Walter, you've owed me one for a long time. Now, Walter was our co-captain, along with Charles Tuffy Farrell, for our football team. Walter was also our captain for our basketball team. Now, he was a pretty popular guy. Well, at one of our dances, he asked to walk me home. Well, we always went to Roman's Candy Corner for maybe a cherry fizz or a tin roof or whatever. Or maybe we went to Stella's for a hot hamburger or listened to some of the latest hits on the jukebox. Well, we're on our way. Now he makes the turn on Wisconsin Avenue. So you know that's not the way to town. He says, I really have to, I have a curfew. We get halfway to my house and he stops and he says, I'm never going to make it. This is as far as I can walk you. He left me standing on the corner. I never got to town. No way was I going to show my face there without Walter. And I had to walk home the rest of the way in the dark, which I hated. Got him.
Charles always did talk too much.
Well, in the 1950s, Career Day was very popular. Professionals would come into the schools and talk about their jobs. And this gave the students a chance to hear about occupations that they may be interested in. Then in 1952, Gladstone had their first Girl Scout troop was formed. 1955, Jonas Salk announced his successful, these braces that I'm wearing, successful test of his anti-polio vaccine. In 1957, November of 1957, the Mackinac Bridge, which connects the Lower Peninsula to the Upper Peninsula, was open for vehicle traffic to cross. In 1957, Mr. Cameron headed a cleanup campaign for the city of Gladstone. It was sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, and all students, there was all ages of students, the community, organizations, they were all given a task to do. And then Mr. Cowan, he led the parade when the main street was washed down with the fire truck hoses and all. And then we won a trophy for having the cleanest city in the nation. Of course, we all know that 1950s was the birth of rock and roll. Bill Haley and the Comets released their record Rock Around the Clock. And the king, Elvis Presley, had many songs out then. Blue Suede Shoes, Love Me Tender, and many. And also we can't forget Pat Boone, my idol. So now we'll take you into the 50s with our music.